Thanks for joining me again for this week's yoga. We're going to start straight away, so come to a sitting position any way that's comfortable and start to twist gently to the right, bringing your left hand to the right knee and your right hand behind you to help prop your spine. Look gently over the back shoulder if it's comfortable and relax into your hips. Turn your head to look over your left shoulder, down towards the ground, releasing your jaw, releasing your neck. Repeat on the other side, bringing your right hand to your left knee, looking over the back shoulder briefly, hand propped behind you, feeling your hips pressing into the ground and breathing deeply. Rotate your head to look down to the floor over the front shoulder. Slight tuck of the chin before we release and come back to center. Stretch your legs out in front of you and just shake out through the knees. We're going to come into a staff pose. Bring your hands to either side of you, flexing and pointing through the feet, just waking those muscles up, letting your feet fall in and out. Before coming to stillness with your feet nice and flexed, toes pointing back towards your face, move your hands to either side of your hips with your fingertips facing forwards, pushing down firmly through the hands, making sure that the shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. If you have longer arms, you can have your hands slightly further behind you, or you can prop your hands up on blocks if you're finding it uncomfortable reaching down towards the floor. We're rooting down through our sits bone for our tailbone. You can bend your knees slightly. This will bring you a little bit more ease. You could prop something underneath your knees as well. Or you can continue to have your legs straight, propping yourself up, spine long and tall, feet and legs activated. Release and start to bring the feet in. Feet together, knees opening out to the side in butterfly pose. You can sit up on a block or a pillow if this helps your pelvis to tilt forwards. Holding onto your feet, start to look gently over to the right shoulder, back to center and over to the left, keeping your hips grounded, just your torso moving. Come back through center, inhale deeply, and as you exhale, start to slightly come forward in this butterfly pose, stretching out through the hips, keeping the back nice and flat, making sure you're not holding any tension in your jaw. You can slightly pulse. This can feel nice to activate the hips and the lower back. Start to slowly come back up to a seated position. We're going to bring the feet even closer, grab hold of the big toes, rolling back slightly onto your tailbone, and try and straighten your legs up towards the sky, nice flexed feet. You can have a micro bend in the knees, making sure your chest is high and proud, your back is straight. And exhale, release, back into butterfly pose. This time maybe bringing your feet a little bit closer to your body. Inhaling deeply as you sit up tall, and exhaling, folding forward from the hips. Remembering not to push yourself too far, and using props wherever you need to. And exhale, release, come back up to sit. Start to bring your legs nice and wide to either sides of the mat. Again, flexing strongly through the feet and using your hands to prop your spine and your back up nice and straight. You can stay here, or if you feel like you've got a little bit of extra space in your hips, in your groin, you can start to very gently hinge forwards, resting your hands on your legs or on the floor or on a block, anything that you have to hand. All the time making sure that there's some slight external rotation of the upper thighs. They're not rolling inwards or collapsing inwards. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. Breathing deeply, releasing into the stretch. And exhale, come back up. Bring your feet and your legs back together. Bend your knees and start to windshield wiper your legs one side to the other. Starting to release all the fascia in the sides of the legs, in the thighs and the hips. We're preparing for reverse plank. Bring your hands behind you with your fingertips facing forwards, feet together pressed into the floor, and start to lift up, pushing strongly through the feet and through the hands. You can remain looking forward, or you can let your head fall backwards, trying to make sure that you're not gripping through the glutes. And exhale, release down. Grab hold of your shins and just start to do some seated cat-cows. So inhale, tilt your pelvis forward, open your chest, and exhale, round backwards, creating a C curve with your spine. And just do a few of these in your own time, loosening up, relaxing, cooling down a little bit. We're going to come into our second variation of reverse plank. This time straighten your legs out, toes together, pointing through your feet. Push into your hands and your feet, lifting your hips off the floor. Again, head forward or falling back. Opening your neck long. Bringing your head back to center before you release back down to the floor. Come back to seated and just gently round forward. Just a little counter stretch to our little mild back bend. Bring your legs back in, cross your feet and roll over your knees into a tabletop position. Pushing back into our first downward dog, keeping the legs nice and bent before stepping the right foot forward between the hands into a long lunge. Just staying here for a moment, making sure your hips are nice and even. Start to bring your right hand to your right thigh, left hand still on the floor or on a block, and use that hand to twist your chest open, eventually opening up your right arm towards the sky, following that arm with your gaze, and bringing everything back down to downward dog. Repeat on the other side, left foot forward, bringing your left hand to your thigh, making sure your hips are even, before twisting your chest and your torso up towards the sky, making sure you're keeping pressure pushed through that back foot, opening the arm up towards the ceiling. Breathing deeply before you exhale, let everything go, come back to your downward dog. You can tread through your feet here. And roll forward, relax down into a child's pose, head relaxing on the floor, forearms resting down, knees wide or together, whichever is your preference. Roll back up to seated, letting your head come up last, and make your way down, laying on the floor, and bringing your knees tight into your chest, just rocking gently from side to side. I'm going to do a couple of bridge poses here, pushing your feet into the floor, and your hands and your arms start to gently lift the hips up, keeping the legs parallel, bringing the chest up to meet the chin. And on your next exhale, articulate the spine, roll down one vertebrae at a time, and release your hips down onto the floor. Bring your knees back into your chest. You might want to do this lightly after back bending. Rock side to side, just massaging the lower back. Before straightening out the legs, we're going to come into final relaxation. Let the feet flop open to the sides. Release the shoulders down your back. Bring your hands out, palms up. Make an effort to concentrate on the way your body feels against the floor coming up to meet your body. Letting go of your deep, heavy breathing, following your energy from the top of your head down to the tips of your feet. Start to breathe in and out for a count of 10 before starting again. Really concentrating on the inhales and the exhales, releasing all of the work that you've done today, feeling the looseness, the flexibility in your hips, and feeling the warmth that you've curated throughout your whole body. Continue counting your breaths just for a few seconds longer. Start to wake your body back up. You can wiggle through your fingers and toes, rock your head from side to side, gently roll onto your side, up to seated, letting your head come up last. Come to a gentle seated position with your hands resting on your knees, chin slightly tucked. You can stay here in this meditative state for as long as you like. If you only have your 10 minutes, we're coming up to the end now, so you can start to blink your eyes open. Bring your hands into a prayer in front of your chest. Thank you so much for joining me today.